So Daniel from these 7Cs, man, I'm so excited. Now this is a long time coming. Actually, I don't want to call this like an unboxing and first impressions videos, because to be honest with you guys, I've been rocking and carrying this guy for a few weeks now, but just wanted to kind of give you my 2 cents, my thoughts on this amazing knife. So of course, if you know Skiff knives, man, they're an amazing company. They make the bearings and they also make knives. So here what we have is the Fugitive. This is one of their latest models, and boy, just right off the bat, this is a looker. Their ability to do like this type of milling and finishes are just bar none one of the best in the industry. This is my 3rd Skiff knife. I've had the Drifter, I've had the Fugitive, and now the Drifter, the Culprit, and now the Fugitive. Now I ended up selling the Drifter and the Culprit just because, to be honest, it was way too nice for me to comfortably carry and use. But both of those knives had like this hand rub satin finish on the blade, and it was just so blingy, so nice, and I just decided to pass it on to a good home. But one thing I love about this particular Fugitive is that, to me, this is the most EDC friendly skiff out of the bunch. And the reason why, there are a couple reasons why. First of all, it's not so flashy. But more importantly, look at this blade. This is a Stonewash hollow grind S45 VN, and it is not, it's just a standard kind of a EDC kind of configuration, in that, it's gonna hide scratches and wear way better than that hand rub satin finish on my other 2 knives. But just, God, if I could make an argument, I would say the Fugitive is by far, at least this kind of configuration, is by far the most EDC friendly out of all of the Skiff knives that I've seen. Because Skiff knives can get very fancy. You start to, you'll see Damascus. A lot of them, again, is hand satin finish. A lot of them have these really amazing anno work done. As you can see, this is pretty monochromatic, not a lot of color going on. But yeah, just an amazing knife, I've had this knife for a couple weeks. I've carried and used it, and it cuts well. This hollow grind is very well executed. I love that they've included this forward finger choil. I love finger choils. I like to choke up on the blade to do more of that kind of that pinch grip cutting, or just really, be able to have that kind of a close-up control. But also it has more than enough real estate to back out on this traditional grip. And yeah, just a amazing knife. Let me just do a close-up on this. The details of this milling pattern is just ridiculously awesome. One thing I don't want to know, it's really interesting because this is not just like a one kind of a surface level. You see that it kind of tapers out this way, kind of tapers down this way. So the way they've really executed this milling pattern is just phenomenal. Look at that. It kind of tapers and then it levels out. It's just these kinds of details are what makes Skiff knives just such phenomenal knives. Look at that pocket clip. That milling pattern goes onto that pocket clip, so seamless. They have an integrated kind of a lanyard hole. I'm not a big lanyard guy, but I like how they've allowed for that option, if so. If you've ever handled Skiff knives, they're really known for this really large kind of a flipper tab, very easy to manipulate. I could kind of use my thumb to do that, or the traditional kind of pointer flip. Those are really the only, this is a flipper only knife, guys, so it's very limited in terms of deployment, but that's all good because everything else about this knife is just ridiculously awesome. One thing also I did notice that they did differently on a Fugitive versus the Culprit and the Drifters, that they've definitely milled out. They have like pockets that they've milled out on the inside. There you go, Fugitive 141. And then here you'll see their Skiff logo right in there. But yeah, I love how they kind of milled out some of that pocket just to make this knife feel a little bit more balanced in hand. As you can see, that balance point is like right there, right behind that flipper tab, which is perfect. It feels very nimble in hand. You know, definitely still has a little bit of weight to it, but it, you know, it just feels really good. I would say this is probably about a little north of like 4 ounces, just off the top of my head. But man, this knife has just been absolutely phenomenal. Just for some size comparisons, let me bring out, I have one of my favorite EDC knives of all time, the Oz Roosevelt. If you line it up there, it's definitely bigger than the Roosevelt. And then one other knife I want to bring out is the Brown Mini FSDI. So there you go. This one I would say is fairly comparable. These two are fairly comparable in length, as you can see. Even the cutting edge, I think the cutting edge, I would say this, the Fugitive has a little bit more of a cutting edge than the Mini FSDI. But there you go. Those are some of the size comparisons right there. Overall, how do I like this knife? I love this knife. There is just something so special and unique about this knife. Just everything from the craftsmanship. I mean, the machining on this is impeccable. It's just finished to utter perfection. Look at that. And then of course they are known for having these pivot collars. I believe these are titanium pivot collars. And so if I unscrew the pivot screws, I think I could pop off these collars and replace it with different kind of titanium collars. I don't know if Skiff sells like these pivot collars on its own, but I would imagine, you know, it's like a, you know, like you could easily swap it out for other, I guess, colors and whatnot, other patterns. This is called, I believe, the drilled pivot collar, because the, you know, have these like drilled holes around, you know. Standard fare, they have, it looks like a lock bar insert with an over travel stop. It looks like the pivot collar does also act as a secondary kind of an over travel stop. But yeah, blade is absolutely centered. In terms of like machining, I mean, this is like literally perfection. Even the grind, the bevels on these are just so consistent. And then it kind of flares, tapers out up this way. Same on the other side. The bevels are just so consistent. I love this kind of this really nice stonewash finish they put on this blade. This swedge is really nice. Man, I can't find any fault in this knife. It's just literally, it's just a perfect knife. I don't know what else to say. The action, I would definitely say it's not drop shutty. You know, I do need to shake it up, shake it down a little bit. But it is just very smooth, hydraulic smooth. So if you're gonna get into a Skiff knife, know that you're not gonna have an action like the Rosie, right? Where it's just like almost drop shutty, right? Like the Mini FSDI is like a guillotine, right? I would say this is definitely more hydraulic, very slow, kind of a, you know, I could shake it in, see? But as you can see, it's not just going to be like one fluid motion, you know. I would imagine though over time that it will become more and more smooth. These have, of course, the Skiff bearings in them. So if you've ever dealt with Skiff bearings, you know that they are pretty much, you know, some of the best bearings out there you can get. And so, yeah, look at that. Just utter perfection. Utter perfection. I believe this is a T10 or T15. And these are T10s or T8s. They're on the larger end from what I recall. I haven't taken this knife apart, but I believe that's the case. Man, this knife is just so good. I would say definitely the let me get this out of the way. These are definitely harder to get, even on the secondary. But you know, if you're patient, they do pop up from time to time. In the knife swap Reddit page is where I got this guy. Also, they do have the Facebook group, the Skiff knives like Facebook group. You could join. I don't see a lot of knives on sale in that group, to be honest. But again, if you're patient, you'll be able to pick one up. I got this for around $800 from what I recall. I think table price is a little bit above that. I've seen them go anywhere from like $800 to $1,000. But I think on the secondary, you could probably pick this up around the $800 mark. Now that is of 2024. That might change, right? But yeah, there you go. Out of the 3 Skiff knives that I've had, like I said, this has become by far my favorite. You know, just so amazing. The work that Skiff knife does on these knives, on their bearings, are just impeccable. I mean, it's just so top tier stuff. Anyways, there you go, my 2 cents. Gosh, this is in my regular kind of rotation, and so happy. This is a fantastic knife. There you go. You guys have a great day.